Think Realty Nation, it's your host, Abhi Golhar. Welcome to the Think Realty podcast. If you are a real estate investor and you're looking for capital, this is your show. I'm excited to have a conversation with Rick Rahl, who understands the nuances of finance, and he knows what it takes to get the right kind of capital for your deal. So we'll jump into that interview in just a second. I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this podcast, which is my good friend Marco Santarelli from Narada Real Estate Investments, your premier source for cash flow investment property. Check him out. Go to www.turnkeyrealestateinvestments.com. Let's jump right into it. Rick, welcome to the show. I'm excited to have the conversation with you, man. I mean, especially in an environment where investors need to know how to find the right capital, where to go get the right capital, and you seem to be the guy, and you are the guy that has the answers over at Navigator. So give me a little background. Who are you? What do you do? And we'll jump into all of these questions that I have for you.
Well, certainly. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I would say we are one of the guys. There are a handful of us in this business that do a pretty good job, and we consider ourselves one of those. Background, there's three of us that own the company. I owned a traditional mortgage company for 14 years. I originally started with ITT Financial. Then went to GSF Mortgage, then had my own company for 14 years, licensed real estate broker, past president of a local board of realtors. And 4.5 years ago, myself and two other partners I've known pretty much the most of my life, raised capital. We saw a need in the marketplace that wasn't being filled by traditional lenders. We wanted to come in, bring some common sense, and make a difference in our community by providing capital in areas that were not being served. So we came in, and our motto is this: if our clients are not going to make money, why should we be lending them money? We want to make sure they make sound financial decisions, and they have a dream, go into an area which could be blighted, could not be blighted, but is looking for some regentrification. We provide a pathway for them to get into the properties, fund them, put out a quality finished product, put it in the marketplace, sell it, make the profits, and ultimately we help put a family or an individual in a house, one quality rehab property at a time. That's really what makes us tick.
Gotcha. So from a automation perspective, because there are a lot of investors out there that will work with lenders, and they'll say, well, it's really complicated. There's a lot of paperwork, etc. What I love about you guys is you have a fully automated LOS system. Help our viewers and listeners understand why that's really important and how that's a key differentiator for Navigator versus others in the market that are your competitors.
Great question, and I appreciate you asking it. It's one of the key components that's helped us grow and has made our business very scalable. I have to give credit to one of the owners, whose name is Kevin. His background is in IT, and we had looked at some other software to buy and put into place, and we frankly developed our own. If you look at our software, it almost looks like the dashboard to the space shuttle. We have so many data points, but what it allows us to do and our clients to do 24/7 is log on to the website, get automated free proof of funds letters for our borrowers that have signed up as members. That allow them to submit offers anytime that they want. And then when they put a loan application, it comes in within, an hour to 2 hours. We're in contact with the client and or the broker. We will send out, for those in the business, what we consider like a light DO or LP approval, which has links to pay for the appraisal, an application deposit, a link to upload all the docs that are required. And then as those docs come in, processing clears them. Within the cycle of a 24-hour period, the system runs, and if those conditions drop off. So as you go through the loan process, you're fully informed, and you can see it at any point in time. It actually keeps us on top of our borrowers, especially if we are needing documents, and it reminds them when we need these documents, because we can typically close in 2 to 3 weeks. We can go much faster if we have all the documents in. But from start to finish, everything is given to the borrower immediately, and or the broker, and we even include the realtor in the equation if the borrower so chooses.
So most of the time, I get emails and Instagram messages or LinkedIn messages with folks that are like, well, my rehab's going sideways. And this is what I found really interesting, because not a lot of lenders would jump in and help flippers or help those that are renovating homes, doing new construction. And they won't say, hey, here's the path to solving the challenge. How do you guys do that differently than your competitors? Because that's a really unique trait.
Well, it's a great question again. And the difference with us is we want to ensure that they're going to be profitable. When we first started in this business, we weren't as much of a stickler on it. And as we grew and understood the marketplace more and more, if you have the right equation right up front, even though it may change slightly, you're going to be ensured success. And what do I mean by that? When we get a scope of work, which is the work that the individuals are going to do to the property, we take a look at it, and we have several qualified contractors that work for us that have been in the business for 20, 30, sometimes 40 years. And they're looking at the cost per square foot. Do the numbers make sense? Is it the right number for demo? Is it the right HVAC system for that type of square footage, the tonnage, things of that nature? And we're not here to pick and choose winners on, hey, if you got it done a little bit cheaper, a little bit more. We're just looking to make sure that it's in the ballpark. And then, so that really establishes for our appraiser what we're doing to the property, what it's going to be worth, because that's ultimately what we're really concerned with. If you're buying, fixing, and flipping, or you're buying, renovating, and holding, and you want to refinance out, it's a key component. But when the deal starts to go sideways, whether it be with your contractor getting hurt or just not showing up or not installing the right products, we will take a look at the scope of work, determine how much money we have left, and we will take the time to look at and say, okay, this is what we have remaining. This is where the money is going to be tight. How can we help you budget this to make important decisions? Because most of the time, these renovations do not go on a systematic completion.
That's right.
System. In other words, they'll come in, they'll do demo, and then the plumber doesn't show up and they do the roof. That's fine. We're trying to ensure that when the money gets tight or they get into a wall that doesn't have, you get into the wall and there's termites or bad wiring, how do we make those monies last and spread them out? It may be
That's right.
that the client is bringing more money. It may be that we're giving them a little bit more and adding it to the loan, but that's really on a case by case. We want to ensure that they finish the project. It does us no good if they don't finish the project or they don't have a quality project. And this is really what differentiates us.
Yep, that's totally fair. And I appreciate you saying that too, because not a lot of lenders would go to those lengths to ensure the success of a project, which I think is really neat. Real quick, take about a minute. From a market opportunity perspective, there's a lot that's been happening in the world right now. And if you live in the Southeast, we also now have a cicada problem. These are these massive bugs that, right, like they hibernate for 17 years and then they scream, and it's a terrible infestation. But where's the market opportunity right now? Where do you think the market's going to go? You got about 45 seconds.
So we've seen this movie before. It's just different actors. We made it through the crash in '08. Realistically, what we have been doing when this first started was going to our borrowers and saying, how is your project going? How can we help you? Some of them, we have a game plan. Some of them, they'll say, we just went out. And then we identify those properties. We put them on our website, properties that are available for sale. That's in-house items. There's going to be a lot of people in trouble. And if you are in the business, what I would ask you to do is contact your contractors. How are these projects going? If you're looking to identify different properties that may not be in-house with us, but are in the marketplace and can be readily identified by boots on the ground. The other thing is obviously looking for foreclosure sales, auctions. Unfortunately, it's going to provide, this pandemic has created a lot of issues for a lot of borrowers, but it also creates a lot of opportunities. And if you position yourself, with the right business model and, with the end goal of helping everybody, you're going to be able to get people out of properties, pick them up, and finish them. And we believe that there is going to be a lot of that going forward.
I appreciate the insights, Rick. What's the best way to get in touch with you at Navigator? You got an email, phone number, website, application form, Instagram, LinkedIn?
Absolutely. So the website is www.gonavcap.com. You would sign up as a member. You can sign up as a realtor. You can sign up as a broker. You can sign up as someone who's looking for financing. You can get a pre-application, which is just a scenario. You can complete a loan application online. As I said, you can request a proof of funds once you sign up as a member, and we make sure of your experience. Facebook is GoNavCap, or Navigator Private Capital. My email is rick@gonavcap. And if you'd like to make a phone call, 443-603-0193.
Rick, thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it. Again, for the viewers and listeners, that's www.gonavcap.com. Rick, thanks so much for the insights. I appreciate your time, man.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. Stay well.
You got it. You do the same. All right, Think Realty Nation, this next segment is brought to you by AaronBChapman.com. Bypass all of the overcomplications of the common suit and tie mortgage guy and connect with Aaron Chapman and his team of real estate investment finance experts at Security National Mortgage. No fluff, no complicated industry speak, just brutally direct action. Visit AaronBChapman.com today for more information. That's AaronBChapman.com. All right, let's talk about commercial property types that will thrive after the coronavirus. And I've been having some of these conversations lately as well with some really cool people. And I find that there are a couple of trends to pay attention to, especially with millennials kind of moving more to the suburbs, the secondary markets being catching on fire. We've talked about how much these secondary markets have been catching on fire. Anyway, it's kind of important that we keep that conversation of where to invest and why we're paying attention to those indicators in those secondaries are important. But micro apartment units, that seems to be a very interesting trend. This is a Think Realty Industry Trends report written by Tyler, who says, quote, a subtype of multifamily real estate, micro apartment suites are residential living units that are smaller than your average rental, around 200 to 400 square feet. And warehousing is very interesting. Last mile warehousing, again, that's a subtype of industrial real estate. And these warehouses are the final stop for packages before they land on a consumer's doorstep. Kind of an interesting potential Amazon play here, don't you think? Yep, that's what I'm feeling. I like this. I'm also thinking there's been a lot of conversation around commercial real estate and how a lot of offices are going to go from, say, 1,000 square feet that they've leased to 400 or 500 square feet because you have a lot more remote workers. What do you think? Let me know. Because I'm still trying to figure out what this trend is going to be. Maybe there's a long-term viable opportunity here. Maybe there's not. I don't know. But I want to hear from you. So find me online anywhere, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I am there. Get in touch because I'm interested to know what's going on in your neck of the woods as well. Check out this article titled Commercial Property Types That Will Thrive Post-Coronavirus. Let me know what you're seeing there too. Maybe there's a mistake. Maybe there's not. I think it kind of makes sense. Micro apartment units, I mean, especially if you live in New York, yeah, duh. I'm totally down with that. And then, of course, last mile warehousing totally makes sense given that the amount that even I'm buying on Amazon has skyrocketed. So I want to make sure that we're paying attention to warehousing as well, which doesn't, that's industrial. I haven't purchased any industrial, but I just might now. Think Realty Nation, that's a wrap. If you want to get in touch, you know how to do it. I want to give a quick shout out to Nevada Real Estate Investments for sponsoring this podcast because without them, we can't make the podcast run. And you want to reach out to Marco over there. Nevada Real Estate Investments is your premier source for cash flow investment property. Visit www.turnkeyrealestateinvestments.com for more information. Think Realty Nation, until next time, happy investing.